There's this incredible statistic that companies with highly engaged employees are over 20% more profitable. And that's not an accident. It's the direct result of a powerful, often invisible force that separates a good team from a truly legendary one. Today, we're going to unlock the science behind that force, motivation. Let's dive right in. So, this really is the million-dollar question for every single leader out there, isn't it? What is it that makes one person lean in and give their absolute all while someone else is just punching the clock? This isn't just some philosophical question. It's probably the most critical puzzle you can solve for your organization's success. So, at its very core, work motivation is that internal fire that drives us to get things done. But here's the crucial part. That fire is fueled by our own individual needs. So as a leader, your real job is to understand those needs and then create an environment where they can actually be met. Because when you do that, you'll unlock a level of performance you never even thought was possible.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to take a quick journey through the science of motivation. We'll look at the big theories that explain what drives us. We'll dive into the mindsets that define different kinds of leadership, and then we'll figure out how you can use all this knowledge to build a team that's not just productive, but truly inspired.
Okay, let's be perfectly clear about this. Understanding motivation isn't some nice-to-have soft skill. Nope, it is the single most important lever you can pull to drive results. Because when you get motivation right, everything else, we're talking productivity, innovation, retention, it all just falls into place. The best way to think about motivation is like the wind in your team's sails. It's what pushes them forward, keeps them on course, and helps them get through any storm. Without that wind, even the most talented crew on the best ship in the world is just dead in the water. But when you know how to harness that wind, there is literally no limit to what your team can achieve. Have you ever noticed that when you're really, really hungry, it's pretty hard to focus on a complex problem? Well, that's the power of our basic needs, and it's the exact same principle at work. To understand how to motivate your team, you first have to get what they need, and that's where this brilliant framework from Maslow comes in. So just picture a new hire on their very first day. What's their main concern? It's probably making enough money to pay the bills, right? That's the foundation of the pyramid. Once they feel financially secure, then their focus shifts to things like job security and a stable workplace. After that, they want to feel like they belong, like they're really part of a team. Then comes the craving for recognition and respect for their hard work. And finally, at the very top, they want to grow, to be challenged, and to really reach their full potential. That is Maslow's hierarchy in a nutshell. Now this is the crucial insight for any leader. Once a need is met, it stops being a motivator. It just does. So if you've got a top performer who's already paid well and feels secure in their job, offering them another small raise, well, it might not move the needle much. What they might actually be craving is public recognition for a job well done, or maybe to lead a challenging new project. You have to meet them where they are on that pyramid. So Maslow gave us a fantastic map of our needs. But what about the things that make us truly love our jobs versus just, tolerating them? That is the exact question Frederick Herzberg wanted to answer. And trust me, what he found will totally change how you think about motivation. So think of these hygiene factors like the foundation of a house. You absolutely need a solid foundation to keep the house from falling down, right? But the foundation itself isn't what makes it a home. That's the job of the motivators. Those are the things that make your work feel meaningful, a sense of achievement, a chance to grow, real recognition. They're like the beautiful furniture, the cozy fireplace, the purpose that actually fills the rooms. And this just nails the point, doesn't it? Have you ever had a job where you were paid well, you had great benefits, but you still dreaded Monday morning? That's because all the hygiene factors were there, but the real motivators were missing. You basically had a ticket to the game, but you weren't excited to play. Real, lasting motivation comes from the work itself. So how do you actually put this into practice? Well, it's all about something Herzberg called job enrichment. And this isn't about more perks or a bigger office. It's about making the work itself more rewarding. It means giving your team members more autonomy, letting them take real ownership of projects, and giving them clear opportunities to learn new skills. You're not just giving them a job, you're giving them a chance to grow and make a real impact. But here's the catch. You can't really enrich a job if you don't fundamentally trust your team. And that brings us to the profound work of Douglas McGregor. He saw that leaders basically have two completely different mindsets about their people, and the one you choose will absolutely determine your success. So you have to ask yourself, are you a Theory X or a Theory Y leader? The Theory X leader thinks, my team is kinda lazy and I need to micromanage them to get anything done. But the Theory Y leader thinks, my team is talented and driven, and my job is to clear the obstacles so they can do their best work. Which one do you think gets better results in the long run? Really, the choice is yours. You can be a boss who manages through fear and control, or you can be a leader who inspires through trust and empowerment. But I think if you want to unlock the incredible, untapped potential of your team, there's really only one right answer. Okay, so we've gone through some pretty game-changing theories, but what does this all mean for you on a Monday morning? How can you take these powerful ideas and actually use them to build a team that's on fire? That's what we're going to cover right now. All right, here's your action plan. First, really get to know your people as individuals. What are their goals? What actually drives them? Once you know that, you can tailor your recognition and rewards to what they actually want. Second, make their work meaningful. Delegate real ownership, challenge them to grow, and always connect what they're doing to the bigger picture. And finally, be fair. Seriously, nothing kills motivation faster than the feeling that things are unfair. So make sure your processes are transparent and just. I want to leave you with a thought from Steve Jobs. He said, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and then tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do. And that right there is the fundamental difference between managing for compliance and leading for potential. The choice is yours. Which leader will you choose to be?